I love eating seafood. I love it baked, pan-fried, deep-fried, smoked, served raw, thrown into soups, you name it. Unfortunately, though, that's the extent of my knowledge about seafood. I order what sounds good on the menu, and I cook what looks good in recipe books. But I'm pretty out of touch with the work that goes into getting seafood from the ocean to our plates. So during my visit to San Francisco a few weeks ago, I decided to take that opportunity to learn more about how we source our seafood. I spoke with Kenny Belov, owner of 2x. 2x is a purveyor of seafood, and they support fishermen using sound fishing methods and sell their catch to local restaurants. Kenny cares a lot about using the ocean's resources in a way that is sustainable. And although sustainability is now a popular idea among consumers, Kenny says that there still is a lack of transparency and accountability in the seafood industry that makes the stories sound better than they actually are. Here's what I learned from my conversation with Kenny. There are various unsustainable fishing methods, such as pelagic longlining and trawling, that result in a lot of bycatch. Bycatch are marine organisms that the fishermen don't intend to catch, but get caught anyway. A lot of them die in the process, so they get thrown back into the sea. Others stay alive, but don't have much market value, so they get thrown back into the sea as well. Now, there are efforts by fishmongers to sell some of the bycatch so that fishermen can make a profit, and so that consumers can learn about other types of seafood available out there. But Kenny argues that instead of celebrating bycatch or creating a market for it, we should instead be using more sustainable fishing methods that are more targeted so that bycatch is not a problem in the first place.
When you talk about bycatch in fisheries, 99.9% of the time, the starting point is what we need to fix. We need to fix the gear method on the vessel, we need to fix the targeted species, and then if we're really interested in that species that we're now calling bycatch, then let's find a sustainable way, with a sustainable gear method, a sustainable price for the fishermen, right? The reason those fish are usually cheap is because they weren't targeted originally. But why can't we pay for those? What, do they not have as much value? That's ridiculous. Of course they have as much value. But if we continue to go after the target species and then tell this glamorous story about bycatch and how we're all angels because we're using it, we're fooling ourselves.
In order to ensure that their fish are caught sustainably, 2x checks in with the fishermen to see if proper gear and equipment are used. And sometimes that requires confronting the fishermen when things don't look right.
Last summer, we brought some halibut in from a fisherman that I was told it was hook and line caught. I believe the fisherman. I know the fisherman. I know it's possible for that fisherman to have hook and line halibut, right? That fish showed up in here, and it had drag marks all over it. And I knew from the moment it walked in, and everyone within this company knew that it was drag halibut. Conversation was had. Honesty came to the surface. We didn't sell the fish. We asked him to come pick it up. It didn't get picked up for a week. At that point, it had to go in the trash.
Kenny believes that such incidents can be reduced by developing strong and loyal relationships with the fishermen that he works with, which is why he supports fishermen who practice sustainable fishing methods by paying them more than the industry standards.
The fishermen are disposable to the buyers. That's how they look at them. They don't look at them as something that's critical to their business plan, which is a shame.
Buying seafood from purveyors is no picnic either. There is a lot of room for the truth to be lost in the storytelling.
It's all about just being transparent. In the seafood industry, transparency is a word that's not very popular. It is about smoke and mirrors, it's about big stories, and it's about telling the chef what they want to hear, as opposed to being able to tell the chef, no, I don't have that.
And this is why transparency is such an important part of 2x's mission. But that's not the only problem. Consumers can also buy seafood from chefs who are giving incorrect information.
There's a lot of chefs that want certain products on their menu every single day. Well, unfortunately, those products with that information aren't available every day. You know, when you go downstairs to the processing room, you will see what we have today. What we have today is not what we're going to have tomorrow. So if you want California black cod on your menu every day, and you put California black cod on your menu, printed, let's leave vessels out of it, just the species, California black cod, I guarantee you with 100% certainty that a huge percentage of that year, your black cod did not come from California.
Another thing to watch out for is the labeling for the country of origin of the seafood.
There are no swordfish caught within 3 miles from the beach, anywhere in this state. Impossible. So the best we can get is domestically caught swordfish. So there's a law that allows any fish that's landed within California where the paperwork is filled out as California paperwork, it's now a product of California. So if I'm buying fish from an international fleet that happened to bring their boat into San Francisco, and let's say they're fishing 1,000, 2,000 miles from San Francisco, and now it's a product of California, and you and I go out to dinner tonight, and we can't wait to support something good and healthy and local, and our server comes up to the table and goes, guys, I want to tell you about the special tonight. We've got some beautiful local swordfish from California, and we're doing it with this, that, and this. We're going, sweet, that's awesome. There must be a fisherman here in town that's doing swordfish. We want to support that fisherman. But it was caught 2,000 miles away. It wasn't caught anywhere near California. But yet, we tell the story.
Now that there is more awareness about the importance of sustainability to the environment and to our health, we want to know the stories behind our food. But it's not enough to listen to good stories. We also have to be critical of them.
We're out of the rape and pillage sector, and we're now in this weird transitional period where we're using tall tales to tell stories about, fairies and unicorns out in the ocean. When we find out that the fairies and unicorns actually weren't real, we're going to be in trouble.
Kenny also believes that sustainable seafood doesn't have to be expensive, and that it can be more affordable to buy if we open up the market for underutilized species and ones that are lower on the food chain.
It's not going to change overnight, but we can feed a huge percentage of us with healthy fisheries if we put accountability on the people selling them. But if we continue to walk in and go, oh my God, that swordfish looks so good, 2 pounds please. You know what's going to be in there tomorrow? More swordfish. It's a supply and demand world. As long as we demand it and as long as we pay for it, they're going to keep bringing it in.
In terms of eating seafood, there are many ways that seafood can be better appreciated. For the past decade, Kenny has been running a restaurant called Fish located in Sausalito, and it showcases dishes that are in season and sustainable.
And the opportunity came to open this restaurant that was a very unorthodox approach to dining. It was all about education, it was about welcoming kids, it was about welcoming dogs, it was about doing real food without all the bells and whistles of tablecloths and all that, knowing exactly who the farmer was, who the producers were, who the fishermen were.
One section of Fish's menu is called Fish Bits, which contains unconventional dishes made from parts of the fish that usually go into the trash because people aren't used to eating those parts, such as the heads, the bones, and the tails. But even then, there's still a lot of wasted seafood in the industry because we tend to only want the fillet and the meaty part, and then throw away the rest.
There's so much waste in my industry. Bones, heads, carcasses, and within this company, we can't possibly get all the waste out as well as we could.
As we venture deeper and deeper into the seafood system, accountability becomes more and more elusive and unclear. But if we care about finding our path to a sustainable future, we need to take the initiative to shed light on the facts behind the stories we are told.